There you go. I can see you.
Okay, perfect. Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Sarah here from the Paper Cut. Like 2 minutes before we were on, I checked. Volume was good, and then I don't know what happened. So, anyways, that's why I shut it totally down because we didn't have picture or we didn't have sound. So we're just starting fresh. So let's make sure I have sound. Yes. Sound and video. Yay. So tonight we are doing Fun Time Thursday. So we're doing clean and simple cards. But first we are going to, well, not first, but so tonight is Fun Time Thursday. Clean and simple cards. Next week is our bake along. So we're going to make pepperoni bread, and then instead of doing fudge this year, we're going to do a breakfast dish because our family is big into breakfast. So we're doing a wild rice quiche too, besides the pepperoni bread. So, and then let's see, January we have a crafters classroom, and we're doing it with Stamplistic, kind of like we did in March. So this is going to be our lever cards, but we're getting bigger ones made to match to go with their 6x6 cards and their bigger stamps. So we don't have samples for that yet, but then for my Fun Time Thursday in January, I'm going to do guide cards, and they're going to be guide cards with nature. So like the bear, the deer, fish, and something else. Maybe a wolf, maybe a moose. I don't know. So it'll be that rather than guide cards that are like golf and tools and stuff like that. We're going to do like nature cards, nature guide cards, or nature themed. So anyways, let's go down to the table.
Okay, you're there.
So we are, first I'm going to go through the ingredients for the pepperoni bread, and then I have the ingredients for the wild rice quiche. And I did say I was going to get these out to you, and I will. I'm going to do an email this weekend, so then you'll be all ready to go for our next Thursday bake-along. So for our pepperoni bread, you need the Roadies frozen bread dough. Sometimes that's hard to find. It comes in a 3-pack and a 5-pack. You don't have to pull them all out and make all of them. Like you could pull one out and make it the night that we do it, and then if you like it, then you can pull the other 2 out and make them another time. Or you can just go for it and make all of them. So the frozen bread dough, the pepperoni, it's a 6-ounce package. I use just 1 package of mozzarella. My mom uses half mozzarella and half Swiss. Parmesan cheese, it's a 1/2 cup. 2 eggs. Let's see, are we all the way on the... Yeah, we are. Yep. 2 eggs, Italian seasoning, which is a teaspoon plus some shakes, garlic powder or salt, and that I use just like a quarter, so it's a very small amount. Pepper's a very small amount. 2 tablespoons of parsley, and then an 8 or 9 inch round cake pan. I prefer my 8-inch cake pans from my grandma. Or there's 9-inch round cake pans or like pie tins. So that's what you need for the pepperoni bread. You will need to have your frozen bread dough thawed. When I leave it out, and if I leave it out for 8 hours, I do the whole thing of 5 and it's like exploding all over. And that's okay, but a good 6 hours is probably sufficient. So if you pull it out around 11 that day, if you have to pull it out earlier, you have to pull it out later, that's fine too. But 8 hours, it'll be really big. 7 hours will probably be just perfect. 6 hours will be good because I'll talk for a little bit. So anyways, that is our pepperoni bread ingredients. Then I did the same thing for our wild rice quiche ingredients. In case you want to make this is a super easy breakfast dish. You need 3 to 4 eggs, 2 tablespoons of onions chopped, salt and pepper. It says light whipping cream, but I never find light whipping cream, so the alternate in my recipe is 1 cup of the heavy whipping cream and a 1/2 cup of the 1/2. You need 1 of the deep dish pie crusts, which I like the Marie Callender's brand. They're, it's got a nice rim on it, and they usually don't come cracked like some of the other ones, although this one in my freezer is cracked. Then this is the microwave package of the Uncle Ben's original wild rice, long grain and wild. So for when I'm making two, because the pie crusts come in two, then I use a whole package. I use half for each one. A third cup of the honey ham. It can be deli honey ham. It can be a different brand, and it just gets chopped up fine. And then you have the 6 cheese Italian, and again, it's a half a package. But when I make two, I use, all of this package, a good amount of that package. So yeah, but it's a super easy recipe to make if you want it for like Christmas morning, which is what we do for Christmas and Thanksgiving and Mother's Day, and any day that we're gathering, we do like our breakfast. So that will be our bake along ingredients for next week. Now, today was our actual last day of working for the year, which I'll be working, but out in the warehouse, Becky and Brian have off so they can spend time with their family, they can do whatever. So normally I make them Christmas cards, and I can never show you because I always make them on the day, because we always go out to lunch today. But today was super busy, so we decided we're going to go out to lunch next week. And anyways, but I made their cards today, so I can show you their cards, and I'm actually ahead of time now.
Who's watching?
Well, I told Becky and Brian they can't watch.
Oh, okay. Which is a great invitation to watch.
No, I told them, don't watch because I'm going to show your Christmas cards.
Oh,
usually I can't show them. So I did our Peekaboo trifolds for them because I usually use a new product. And like I said, I usually make them and I finish half an hour before we go out to lunch. But this time I finished them, and then we decided, we're really busy. We're not even going to finish shipping until 3 o'clock. So we decided we'd go out next week. So yeah, this is Brian's. He always gets one with deer because he's a big deer hunter and he just likes nature. So this background was actually a Christmas card that I got in the mail from a vendor that I don't even order from anymore, but they still have me on their mailing list for Christmas cards. So the front of this Christmas card had this tree background right here, and it said Merry I don't know, it said this is the front of the card, except I cut it up, and it had Merry Christmas here, so that's why I put the snow down here. But I just thought that was really cool, so I cut up the front of a Christmas card. So I would never do that with handmade cards. I save those, but cards that I get from people that, or vendors that I don't even order from anymore, I usually save them if I want to use the fronts. But look at that front. It turned out awesome. So that's just another use if you have some old Christmas cards laying around that you're I need to purge some stuff. And then Becky's is the snowman. So anyways, those are their Christmas cards for this year that they'll get next week. So hopefully they weren't watching. So tonight we are doing clean and simple cards, which this was going a bit out of my comfort zone because you guys know that I'm used to layering and all of that. So our Fun Time Thursday is clean and simple, which I did use a variety of different white stocks. And I might actually have to look at the directions to know which ones I used. So yeah, these are our clean and simple. Now, hang on, I gotta get a drink of water. And I might have to get my mom to run up and get me a bottle of water because I just finished that one.
Want me to go get one?
Yeah, is that okay?
All right.
They're in the cabinet underneath.
Okay.
So anyways.
If I don't come back, send the truth.
I'm sure you'll come back. She's been sick on and off for a few weeks, and so she finally went in when it started again this past I think she said it started on Friday, and then she didn't tell me until Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. And so I finally told her, go to the doctor. So on Monday she said, I think I'm turning the corner. I think I'm feeling better. And then today she came in and she said, I tried to make an appointment, sinus infection. So, yay, it was something that they gave her antibiotics for, and it's a sinus infection, and hopefully now it will go away and stay away, because it was here, and it went away, then it came back, then it went away, and then it came back. So, anyways, let's get started. I think we'll start with the deepest sympathy. So, let's pull out that one. But yeah, today she said, well, she was trying to get a hold of the doctor. I'm like, why don't you just go into immediate care? And so she checked, and it was a short wait, so off I sent her. So anyways, she's doing better. I'm glad she went in. So this is Sweet Tooth. The white for the fern card is Sweet Tooth. And that kind of matches the Royal Ultra White Felt. Thank you. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
So that matches the Royal Ultra White Felt. So that's why I did pick the Sweet Tooth card. So in doing the Clean and Simple cards, I don't do it that often, so I actually read what to do. And it did say, minimalize your layers, very few embellishments, more white space than colored space. Or you could do colored, but then you're just seeing more of that color. So this one is actually the front of our layer, but it's also die cut too. So when we die cut this, when Becky die cut it actually, we made sure that the top plate was very clean so you didn't have any residual on here. And she might have even put a piece of paper over the top of it to make sure if her plate was getting dirty, so you guys didn't see any of the residual cracks from the plate or whatever. So we're just going to very gently take that out, and see that forms the front of our card. And this piece we are going to attach behind there. So to do that, I'm just going to put tape, around that fern and around the edge. And I'm just going to attach that, and then we're going to attach it to the card front. If you want, let's check this out first. Yes, this piece is cut to the right width, because sometimes I don't cut those layers to the right width, and it's easier to hold them up and snip them off. But this one is cut to the right, so whenever we pick the words, we're going to cut them to the same width. But let's go ahead and start here. And I am going, fairly closer to the fern. Now this, I could not find it on the Impression Obsession website or the Rubbernecker website. I think it's an Impression Obsession one. So either they're out of it or it's discontinued. And Mitra doesn't discontinue dies that often, so I would say that they're probably out of it. So now I just want to make sure that when I attach this, it's not sticking out of the side. I want it fully behind. So you can turn it over and you can attach it to the back, because then you can see, or you can attach it from the front going straight down. You're just wanting to cover up that hole, so it doesn't matter whether it's straight or not. And then I might add some more tape all the way around here. Now we're doing 6 cards because these are Clean and Simple. They should go a little bit faster. And I said that to my mom and then kind of laughed, because I said tonight's class might not be as long because we're doing simpler cards. And yeah, every time I say that, we're here just as long.
Yeah.
So I was telling them that you finally went in to the doctor.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a sinus infection.
We just talked about that last week and wondered if that's what it was. Well,
so now let's figure
I'm
out.
feeling better.
That's good. I gave you different words in case you don't need a sympathy. You have a thinking of you, or you have somebody that's maybe going through something, And so yeah, whatever you need to make, and maybe you don't want to put this part together yet, because you're going to wait and find out what you need something for. So I give you other words because then you sometimes have that choice. But right now I'm just going to take and cut. And hang on, I had something in my stamp room that has to go home with me tonight. So I'm just gonna
Okay, I'm in here alone. Oh my gosh. She's not far enough away that I can tell a story, so I guess I won't. Here she comes back
Yeah.
already.
Okay, so I'm going to cut a word. And I think since I already have a sympathy, I'm going to cut the your story is far from over. But I'll keep these two in the in the card kit just in case. And I did, let's see, I attached this piece flat and then I popped up. So I got my nails done, so it's hard to pick up paper. But I am going to attach this piece flat and then I'll use foam tape to pop that up. And I'm just going to trim it after I'm done.
I will take all that medicine, Laura. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, sometimes you start to feel better and then you don't think you need it anymore, but you really,
I know.
you really do.
Nice nails, Sarah. Thanks, Marion. What did you do, Sarah? Put all. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Did you go someplace that I don't know about?
Yeah, Leah and I,
Oh,
for my birthday, she
Oh,
said, let's
yeah.
go get our nails done. So she was going to get her nails done. And usually I go like mauve, pink. And this time I said, I'm going to go bold and I'm going to go sparkly. So, and I did.
Okay, so Sarah, here's a
Yes.
question.
Sure.
Because the Next Crafters Classroom kit for the paper cut is in conjunction with Stamplistic, do I have to order your part of the class?
You need to order.
If you're on auto ship, we're talking about auto ship.
If you're on auto ship, you do not need to order. I'm going to email the auto ship people. So you're going to get my part of the class no matter what. And what I was going to say was, actually, I'm not going to attach that quite yet because I want to get the little stem going underneath there. And I can still do that. So hang on one second. I am going to attach it really quick because I already got tape on it. So the lever cards, and hang on, I'm going to get out my mock-up.
That's a great question, Valerie. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, so mine you're going to get no matter what. So this is the lever card. Okay, this is a mini one. So the new one that we're doing is like a 6x6 with a 1 inch around it. And so this will be 4 inches in here. And because the Stamplistic things are bigger, so they're going to do some type of tchotchke thing or whatever, sparkly, blingy, that goes right here. Okay, so this, you don't like, if you want to do the craft along, you for sure have to get the card base, because that's what we're giving you. We're giving you the card base, we're giving you the insert, we're giving you the layer that goes on the front, the layers that go on the inside. But if you didn't want to do the blingy part, you could always sub something else right here. Okay, so you do need to order our kit. If you're on auto ship, you're going to get it no matter what, but you do need to order the Stamplistic kit. So I am going to send an email to all of our auto ship people explaining that. But yes, that's a very good question. So yes, yep, auto ship, it's going to be the kit. It's going to be to make 2 of these cards. You'll get everything except for what layers right here, which is what you would have to order from Stamplistic. If you're not a blingy, blingy person and you want to do something else right there, you know, you can do something else. It's a 4-inch opening right there. So, alrighty. But yes, my auto ship people, I'm sending you an email about that. So, on the fern, I did put glue down the middle, but I did do foam tape on the leaves, and that's how they pop up. And I also offset it just a little bit. So I offset it downward so you're seeing a little bit more of the gray, which now that I attached my words, I'm going to cut a hair of that stem off. But when you do attach it, I just offset it a little bit. And I popped up the leaves. So that's what I'm going to do right now, is get my foam tape out so I can pop up. And I'm cutting it in half so I can put narrow ones on each of the fern leaves.
So 6 cards tonight, sir. We're going to get that done in 2 hours or thereabouts.
An hour and a half.
So Marion Phillips says, yeah, 2 cards with Jennifer on Friday takes up to 3 hours.
Yeah.
We just hang in there.
Yeah, no. Well, these are clean and simple.
Yeah.
So they should be, I mean, geez, the first one that I made, because it is way out of my comfort zone, took me like 2 hours to make, or 3 or 4 hours to make one card, because I was just like out of my comfort zone. So it took me a long time. But then once I got rolling, then they went much quicker. And if you don't want to pop these up, if that's too putsy for you, you don't have to. Totally up to you what you want to do. So, regarding the crossover class, I don't even know yet what color scheme she's using. So I kind of am waiting for her part to pick what the card base color is going to be and what my layering is going to be. So should be interesting. It's always interesting.
So when I was out of the room and you were talking about me being sick, did you tell them how high my fever was?
No, I didn't tell them
Oh
how high
my
your
God.
fever
It was scary. Normally my temperature is like 96 because I'm subpar on everything. Anyway.
Not on everything.
Well, not everything, but health-wise. and that's good. That's just the way I am. So normally I'm between 96 and 97, and it popped up to 102. Oh my gosh. I thought I was dying and afraid I wouldn't. Oh my goodness, it was scary. Anyway, it dropped back down to 95.
That's good. And she didn't even tell me till the next day.
Yeah, right.
I called her. I said, do you want to come over and make wreaths? And she said, no, I'm sick. I didn't go to work. No, I said, do you want to come over after work and make wreaths? I'm too sick.
Yeah, I'm so sick. Oh my gosh, was I sick? Anyway, I'm on the mend now that I have some medication, I guess.
Well, you're better than you sounded on Sunday.
Oh, gosh. And the worst part, I missed 3 dance lessons. Oh, my gosh.
Okay. So now, let's see, do I have any backings? Yes, I have to take a few backings off, which with nails, it is a little bit of a chore.
You didn't get them as long this time, did you?
No, I actually, this time, I didn't, like last time, my nails were trashed. I don't know why, but I just got tips put on last time, so they were longer. So this time, my nails were actually, some of them were a decent length. So I just said leave the length on there, and just round them. But they put so much polish on, because they did like the dippy things. And so it's thick, so it's still hard to pick up paper.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, so now I'm going to do just a glue down the middle. of the stem. And that's just because I want the stem to stick down and then the leaves will pop up. And I'm going to go down just a hair. And hold it for a minute. And I didn't offset mine as much as I wanted to, but I can just pick my so anyways, that is our clean and simple fern. Of course, I can't make anything super simple.
Does it feel like it's clean and simple and maybe we could do something more? It's a pretty card.
Yeah. So
That's my kind of card.
actually one of my ferns is all the way in and I don't want it all the way in. I must have missed the foam tape behind that one. So anyways, there's our fern card. We'll put that one aside. We'll go on to let's go on to the purple one. So let's go on to that one.
Oh, Penny, technology is so strange, isn't it? She can comment while she's on her phone, but it won't allow her to comment from her laptop.
Yeah, I don't know why some things happen. They're just weird. Alright, so this one, this is, what is this one? I want to say this is Neenah Classic Crest 110 pound solar white. It is. That's our card base. Now, this one I think is what I was struggling with. This lattice die is from Impression Obsession. I did have a few of them that I had left over, I think from 2022 I must have had a few. Or they got ordered by mistake because I don't remember using this lattice die for a while. So if you want one, I don't know if I have any left from Comment Sold, but I did have some in-house. So you could always email me if you can't find it on her site and say, Sarah, do you have any? And I might have one left. But this one is a die that just cuts here, so you can cut it like on your card front if you want. But it was just easier to cut as a piece. So we do have to trim it because it's just this piece. And I didn't want to have to make Becky totally center it. So it was just easier. I told her to center it as best as she could. So now you're going to trim up here, leave about 1/8 of an inch up here and 1/8 of an inch up down there. And it should be about 5.5 inches. And then you're going to trim on the sides. So I'm going to pull out my trimmer and show you. We're going to trim a little bit off the top and see how I left just a little bit up there. And this one you should be able to go to right about 5.5 because that's the card size. See, there's just a little bit at the top, and I'm putting it on my blue handle so you can see it a little bit better.
Are these the dies that you were telling Penny about that she could get after the class?
Oh, no, those were the, Penny, when I talked to you, that was about the fun time, that was about the Crafters Classroom where we had the dies, that I was demoing them. These dies I don't have, with the exception of, I have this coneflower die that's on our website, and this lattice die I did have some, but I don't know if I have any left in house. But no, the dies that we were talking about, Penny, was from the Crafters Classroom, where you could, there was the optional add-ons that you could get the dies, the Z-fold dies and the triple mini window card making dies.
Virginia Hebert just received her lattice die from IO.
Oh, nice. Okay, so they do have it. So they
Yes.
were just out of stock. When I looked for it the night that we were doing, this, or the night that I was writing the instructions, I couldn't find that die on their website, but they must have it in stock again. So that is just going to attach to the front. Now you can use micro dot adhesive, you can use glue, you can use whatever you want. It just attaches right to the front. So I'm just going to pull out my glue. I'm only going to put it just around the outside.
That is such a pretty card and such a pretty lattice.
I would say that for my man card next guy cards, I'll try and do clean and simple, but I don't know that I can. Maybe I'll try and do 1 or 2 clean and simple guy cards with the nature, but so if you have too much glue, just kind of take it off, wipe it. Don't wipe it on your jeans. Have a piece of scratch paper there. And I'm just attaching that, I don't know, about a 1/2 inch from the edge of the card. You can really attach it wherever you want. Sometimes I like to turn it over and push on a clean sheet of paper. While that's setting up, we're going to punch out our cone flower. This cone flower I've used a few times, and we were out of them for a little while, but we did get some just recently back in. Now, for up here where it's darker, you could sponge that a little bit darker, or I used crystal lacquer. So when the crystal lacquer just dried a little bit darker. Actually, I might have colored those. No, I don't think I did. You could take a marker, you could take a sponge, or you could just take some Crystal Effects. Or if you have, well, this wouldn't be clean and simple, but if you have Flower Soft, you could add that to it. I think that's against the rules. We're going to, again, I gave you a few different words, so you're going to pick whatever word you want. And I did pop these up with foam tape and the leaves, but it's really hard to get foam tape on something this narrow, so I figured your words kind of hold those in place. So let me get my trimmer, and let's trim up a word. I like the Sending Smile, so I'm just going to do that one for both. But you can save your other ones for another project. And this is trimmed to the width of the lattice, which is 1.5 inches. So, or you could just be a go for it kind of gal, like I'm gonna do. And if it's not perfect, it's okay. It's a handmade card.
It's perfectly lovely.
Yeah, it's perfectly lovely. That's right. I'm gonna trim a little bit more. By the time you know I'm gonna trim it too much, and then I'm gonna just start with a different word. Okay, there, I have my words. So I'm gonna put foam tape on the back of my words. And my words are going to hold that stem in place. So I'm just curious, how many people have made the pepperoni bread? How many people have done the bake along with us and made it?
And did you eat it right away?
Did you eat it right away? Because it's like super yummy right away.
Yeah. Oh, I can't resist it once it's out of the oven, and just we always had to play a game of cribbage and have a
some-
piece of pepperoni bread
Yep.
or two.
I'm usually giving it away as gifts, so I don't actually eat that much when it comes out of the oven, but I'm going to have some at your house next week when we
Yeah,
are
for sure.
doing our bake along. I gave Brian and Becky a loaf. Leah and I made 10 loaves.
Already this year?
Yeah, on Saturday night. She needed to take some to work. And then I needed 2 for Brian and Becky. And I need 1 more for the mailman. And I should probably do the mail gal that comes too.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, because she's super nice too. So, but I figured I'm going to see them next week. So. But yes, I already have 10 loaves under my belt.
Ah, man, I gotta get busy. Laura Plummer's made it, and Leslie made it last year.
Nice.
Was for her son's New Year's Eve party.
Oh, yeah, Josh always takes a loaf for New Year's Eve. Okay, so this, I just did offset it a little bit on the lattice and a little bit off the lattice. It's totally up to you how much you want to do there. And then I already took my backing off, and my stems I'm just going to kind of hold down with my Sending Smiles.
It was the hit of her son's New Year's Eve party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when you're doing the pearls, depending on, because we have different ones that we have, so I don't know which ones ended up in what kits, but there might be spaces between them, and I do like to cut on both sides of the pearl, so then you don't get that little bit of gluey gum, in between. Make more than a bowl and a spoon.
More than a bowl and a spoon. I don't make it. What does that mean? What does that mean, Robin? My theory, more than a bowl and a spoon? Oh, more than a bowl and a spoon. She doesn't make it. If it takes more than a bowl and a spoon. I get it. I understand it. Okay.
Well, this takes a bowl and a fork. Well, and a pan.
Yeah.
A bowl, a fork, and a pan.
That's it.
Well, here, Robin, if you come to Wisconsin, I'll treat you to some.
Okay, now we started something. If we knew you were coming, we'd bake a cake. In this case, we'll bake pepperoni bread if you're coming.
I should do that for the warehouse sale class people.
Yes.
Have pepperoni bread at the nighttime.
Oh, good. I hope you do come someday, Robin. Remember, pepperoni bread for you. You heard it first at Funtime Thursday, 2023.
All right. Oh,
Whoa, he went
my
flying.
pearl went flying. Oh, there it is.
Mm,
Found it.
She's not coming in the winter, Sarah. Well, Robin or Penny. Who am I talking to? Robin. It was 50 degrees here today.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice for December 14th.
Oh, it is. That's super nice.
That's
Okay.
lovely. Your dad would be golfing.
Yeah. So I've got crystal lacquer. So this is, and I just added it to the top just to give a little glossy effect. Okay. And that's if I can get it out. It's always a challenge whether I can get my crystal lacquer to work. But there's crystal lacquer, diamond effects, Um, diamond glaze.
Oh, Hope is looking forward to it. Hope, have you not made it with us before?
So yeah, it's super good. I will do an email that has the ingredients listed specifically, even though I showed them. But then also reminding you to pull your loaf out.
No, Hope hasn't made it before. You will not be disappointed, I
You won't be
promise.
disappointed. It's super good. Now this is going to have to dry for a little bit, so I'm going to...
How is the crystal lacquer different from glossy accents? Did you
They're
answer
the
that
same.
question?
They're pretty much, they're probably just from different manufacturers.
Okay.
I was saying that you could use crystal lacquer. I was trying to think of all the names of the ones that you could use. What was the one you just said, Mom?
What did I
Crystal
just...
Effects, Diamond Glaze.
And crystal lacquer was what?
Yeah, crystal lacquer.
From how is it different from glossy accents?
Oh, glass. It's pretty much the same.
Okay.
Yeah, those things I consider all interchangeable. My tips always get clogged up. So, hang on a second. I've got to put this away. With the lid partially on, anyways.
You know, your dad used to make that bread all by himself, Sarah, at the cottage where we didn't have a whole lot of space until we put our island in up there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. He was so innovative.
So, there we go. I'm going to set that one aside. I make it usually by myself. Leah comes and helps me. She's my assistant. She mixes up the stuff.
Yep.
Let's go on to our 3 trees.
I think I made some by myself last year, too.
Yeah, you did. And the year before.
Mm-hmm.
I think
But only three loaves, I think.
That's
maybe
okay.
maybe 5, I don't know. But not like making 20 or 60 or 90. Sometimes we made 90.
All right. So for this one, we used, this is the watercolor card. So this way you get exposed to a whole bunch of different card types too. Oh no, this is the Nina Classic Crust Solar White. And I did use this is the hammered. So there's a little bit of texture on here. So apparently with Clean and Simple, like you don't want to emboss the whole thing. So, but the hammered is okay because it just gives a little bit of texture. So we can go ahead and attach that layer onto there right away. So yeah, the hammered, if you don't like the super smooth, the hammered just gives a little bit of a backgroundy texture to it. But it's a really subtle texture as opposed to the Royal Ultra White Felt, which was the fern. That was a very deep texture and a very distinct one. This one kind of just looks like somebody took a hammer and hammered on it. So then we have our circle that I did pop up with foam tape. So let's do that. Now this die was getting very persnickety at the end of cutting. So I've used it a lot. I need to probably like write on the back of them that, you know, my dies don't get dull too often unless they're way overused. And now when we're talking way overused, we're talking like cutting hundreds. So I don't replace my dies that often, but this is one that definitely needs to be replaced. So our trees. Now, this middle section is still in there. Like you could pop this whole middle section out of here. I do kind of like it in there, so I left them in. And if you want, like, we're going to attach this with tape or glue, and we'll attach this one with tape or glue. So that's going to hold your little middle piece in that you could pull out. And if you want to pull it out, feel free to pull it out. This one we're going to put foam tape on the back. So that's going to kind of hold that die cut piece in. So let's just go ahead and put some foam tape on the back of the gold Miri lava tree, and the other two are going to attach flat. So this one, this class, you guys are all just working away. There's not too many technical things for this one, so we're just doing.
No, so now you can probably get your glass of wine if you wanted, or
Yeah.
margarita.
I should have brought that.
Yeah.
So now sometimes when I have things like this that won't stick in, you can use a piece of Scotch tape on the back of it to just hold it into place. Let's see, what am I going to put on the back of here?
In my case, I would get hot chocolate.
And I would get a margarita.
Yeah.
But I was just looking because I thought I had a little tape runner that I could.
What do I have?
But let's just go glue again because I can't find my little tape runner. What do you have? What, Mom?
Well, I thought I had a bunch of little tape runners. Oh, I know. I saw them back in the quilted cards stuff.
Yeah, see, it started to come up, but we're just going to glue it down. So we're just going to put our big tree off to our, and sometimes I don't like to push on it and my fingers are getting a little sticky, so I'm just going to push with a post-it note. I love my post-it notes. And I put my tree on crooked, wouldn't you know, and now my little thing is stuck there. There.
Can't move the circle either, huh? No, that's down.
Well, I'm good. We'll just scooch it over a little bit. Scooch. A scooch.
Oh, you know, sometimes there are crooked trees out there, Sarah.
Yeah, there are. I should have used my microdot adhesive.
Thanks, Marion. I think these clean and simple cards are really lovely also.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a struggle. I think this was the first one that I did.
Really?
And this one and the purple one were the first ones. And I struggled because I was going to take out the little things and then I left them in and I don't know, but yes, I struggled. And yes, this was the very first
Yeah,
one.
just Jessie, I agree. Some trees just grow crooked. And, you know, I have a tree that's growing crooked in my backyard at my condo. And the oh, I get a coffee thing going on here. I'll be
And the
back.
other thing I don't do really good is random for gems. So I only have 4 in mine. I think Becky was putting 6 in, but maybe she confused this one with a different one and just put 4. So you might have 4, you might have 5, you might have 6. I don't know. And I did take these gems and I made them, actually I have a whole strip of them right here. I did make them with alcohol ink. So those are just clear ones that I used, oh here it is. I used latte and it kind of gave the really light gold effect. So latte alcohol ink is how I colored those, the gems.
Oh, nice. So Jessie, we have we have a tree that's growing crooked in our backyard at our condo, and one of the condo owners was complaining about it and really was pressing the board to cut the tree down. So the board agreed to cut the tree down, and when I got wind of that, I said, no, you can't cut the tree down just because it's growing crooked. And I finally won the battle. I was ready to laugh myself to the tree so they couldn't cut it down. But after I presented my case for crooked trees, they allowed it to stand. It had been standing that way since we bought in 2002.
So I am using microdot adhesive on this one. And it hasn't tipped over yet, because that's why she wanted it cut down, because she thought it was going to tip over, right?
I'm sorry.
That's why the lady wanted it cut down.
Yeah, she thought it was going to tip over. Now, the tree wasn't going to tip over. And if it did tip over, it wasn't going to get anywhere close to her house. So, and the arborist came and he agreed. And like I said, I stated my case and gave them all kinds of samples and reasons why they shouldn't cut a healthy tree down just because it was growing crooked.
Alrighty, so again, I'm going to grab my Post-it notes and I'm going to just dab from the top. And
Laura says where she lives, they buy the crooked trees for cheap. The fancy HOAs and homes cannot tolerate a tree that is not perfect.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you do you for your gems. You just put them wherever you want. But yeah, I don't do random gems very well, but I was fairly happy with how I placed my random gems. So there you go. Clean and simple number. Geez, we've made it through 3 already.
I know.
We're half done.
Yeah.
Let's go on to that one, which is our birthday. And then our last two kind of intermingle together. So I do have to get a drink of water though, so hang on one second. So next week we'll join you for my mom's kitchen. And then hopefully we can get the camera reset up. I hate taking it out, but now it's like messed up a few times without even being moved. So what the heck? Okay, so in here we have the card, which this is the 100-pound white Cougar Opaque. I can tell because it's a little bit brighter white. We have our gems. We have our one square. We have another square, which actually goes behind that one. And then we have a piece of black, which is that really small one. And then we have the happy birthday. So, but the first thing we're going to do is, in Clean and Simple, when I was reading about it, you know, they said you couldn't have embossing on the whole thing. But I've seen this a lot lately, which it's hard to tell on here, but it's embossed lines. So I'm going to take my score pal. Oops, hang on. And if you don't have a score pal or a score board, then you go to what we used to have to do in the olden days before a score pal, which would be a ruler and a stylus or a bone folder. Let's see, my stylus is right here. There we go. So you could always, you know, and that's how you would make a score. So that was in the old days before the score pal and the scoreboard. And I was never going to buy one of these because all of my cards are scored. But it works really nice for something like this. So let's see. The first one I started, and I just guessed when I wrote the directions because I didn't have the actual card.
MJ, yes, it does freeze well.
Oh,
Both
pepperoni bread, yes.
The pepperoni bread and the wild rice quiche. They both freeze.
Yes. I have a thing of wild rice quiche actually in my freezer right now because on Thanksgiving I made 2 of them. So we're going to make one on Thursday night. But it does bake for about 50 to 60 minutes, depending on if I have 1 or 2 of them in the oven. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually going to bring my one that's in my freezer as the one that you're going to see. Ta-da!
Oh,
We're going to put it...
magic,
Yeah.
like they do on the cooking shows.
Yeah, we're going to put it in the oven, and then we're going to talk, and then, ta-da! We're
Yeah.
going to pull out the done one.
Yeah.
So it's actually one that's in my freezer right now. So...
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
So this first score is started about 1.5 inches down. So I'm just lining it up in the corner, starting at 1.5 inches. And you can do them as far apart as you want them. But see, it just makes a bump. I don't know if you can see that or not. If you're in person, you can definitely see it. And then I went over 1/4 inch, and I did, how many did I do? I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see them in person. It's hard to see on camera. And it just adds a little bit of texture.
Jessie said those old days weren't that long ago, Sarah.
So, yeah, there's my scored piece. So, and it just adds a little bit of texture on there. And I do have to take my scoreboard home tonight because I made place cards for an event for this weekend, and I am going to score the place cards.
Oh.
So now we're just going to attach that on there. Actually, let's check and make sure our black, yep, our black is cut the same width already. So yes, you could freeze the quiche and then just pull it out Christmas morning, bake it to warm it, and ta-da!
Yeah.
Okay. With clean and simple, I mean, that's the one thing though, it's clean. So you have to keep your area clean. So this piece I'm cutting, and that's about 1/4 inch wide. You can cut it a little bit wider if you want. So you're going to cut a strip of black. And if 1/4 is too small for you, maybe 3/8 of an inch is a little bit better. Yeah, 1/4 is a little small, so. But if you want to cut one, I gave you a wide enough piece that you could cut a couple of them to test them. So we're going to attach that, and that's about 1/2 inch from the bottom. I'll pull my trimmer over here. I'm going to cut the Happy Birthday too. It's a little wide on the top. So I've got a little bit more space on the top, so I'm going to cut a little bit off the top. And then let's see. Oh, and then on my sample, it's cut just close to the happy and the birthday, or the end and the beginning. So this one was the last one I made on a day. It was the day that I was here, and I was determined to make 3. And I had spent way too much time on that 3 trees one, and then more time on the lattice one. And then I got to this one, and I was just like, that's what I'm doing. And did it super quick, like probably 1/2 hour. And I texted it to my sister-in-law, and she's like, I love that one. But yeah, I did not spend too much time on it.
Okay, Sarah, can we talk about that trimmer again?
Sure.
You remember we have notes on the back of it, I think.
Okay, hang on. Oh, yes, we do. Okay, so it does come with a guard, since I cut my stuff super small. I have my guard taken off, so it's a be very careful, Sarah, and pay attention to what you're doing. This one I just got from a big box store, but guillotine paper trimmer from Hobby Lobby, that's where I got it, and it was $18.99, and there's a SKU number, but there's also We Are Memory Keepers that has the exact same one with their logo on it. So, and you might find that one like at a local stamp store. So I always say shop local and shop small if you can, but in an emergency, which was because I was teaching a class and needed to still cut stuff, I went to a Hobby Lobby on a town that we were passing through. So, alrighty. Now, this one,
Creative Memories also has a really good one. And
Okay.
apparently, and so does Fiskars.
Oh,
A
nice.
little Fiskars. I think I have a Fiskars back there by my quilted card stuff too.
so this piece is cut just a hair smaller than that square, and it is popped up. So what you could do, you could either do one of two things. You could attach it to your big gray one. You could put foam tape behind there and lay it down right over the top. Or you can put foam tape on here, attach your square, but then you have to put adhesive on here to attach it onto there. So whatever you're most comfortable with. I think I'm going to lay my square down first. And I'm going to try to put it right in the center. And then I'm going to put my foam tape around the present. And then we're going to move on to the ornament one.